Welcome to Recovery Corner, where the many pathways of recovery intersect. This is a space where you will hear personal stories of triumph in recovery, gain insights into various recovery-oriented systems, and learn how leaders across the country are building recovery-ready communities. The Recovery Corner podcast does not provide clinical advice. The following episode contains discussions of specific substances and suicide. Listener discretion is advised.
Hi, everyone. My name is Saraiha Sampson, and I work as the Director of Strategic Equity and Inclusion for Young People in Recovery. And with us today is Kenzii. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, Saraiha. We're so happy to tune in today with all of you listeners. And I'm in recovery. I've been in recovery for a while now. My sobriety date is actually August 3rd, 2018.
That's amazing. Wow. That's incredible. All right, awesome. So can you start by sharing a little bit about yourself and your journey?
Yes. So I started drinking more heavily when I was 15. I was going through a lot in life, and at the time, drinking was like this magic potion that just made everything feel okay.
Yeah.
And I'm sure a lot of people listening in can also relate with that feeling. It's just felt really good to just not have to think about it or deal with anything at that time. And, midway through my drinking, it became a way of self-medicating. I was at the time undiagnosed bipolar type 2. And I didn't even realize what I was medicating for, you know what I mean? I had this feeling that I was just uncomfortable with, and I was just trying to push it down. So midway through my drinking, it just became medicine. And, by the time I got to legal drinking age 21, I was already burnt out. I was so tired of this routine, that I was living in. And I was miserable. I was really miserable. I didn't like who I was. I hated who I was, actually. And I didn't like who I was hanging out with. I didn't like, the places I was going. I didn't see any future for myself. I couldn't even see myself turning 30 years old, which I will have to be in August as well.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm just happy that I've made it this far, and it was definitely a journey, and I definitely found recovery through AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, at a pretty young age. And young people in AA, YPRPOD as they call it, really saved my life at the time. But I would say that SBGC definitely transformed my recovery to kind of round it out and make me feel more full and accepted in spaces that I didn't really feel as accepted in.
Yeah, awesome. So what is the Sober Black Girls Club?
So Sober Black Girls Club was started by our founder, Katie, and Katie kind of just took us along with her sober journey. She started in 2018. It started off as a blog, and it transformed from a blog to a collective, really, in 2020, when there was such a need for community and meetings, and their meetings started taking place online. And so now we have in-person meetups, we have recovery retreats, we have, a plethora of meetings you can go to online and resources available at your fingertips. Our Instagram page, if you haven't been on it, it's popping. It is
popping, yeah.
It's got really great stuff on it, always really great resources. So I'm a part of this collective, and I'm happy to be. Yeah.
That is awesome. So how has Sober Black Girls Club helped you in your recovery journey? Can you share some specific ways that, they've had a positive impact in your life?
I just think the first thing that comes to my mind is community. That feeling of belonging, that feeling of, these are my people. They get what I'm going through, Maybe it has to do with generational curses. This is some things that hear in traditional recovery spaces, people talking about breaking these generational curses. But this is not a topic that we shy away from in our meetings. And that is really crucial work that needs to happen in our community. And they are able to celebrate me in my wins when I'm going through great things in my life. Maybe I just got my driver's license, which I did in January, and they celebrated with me. And, even grieving, they were there to hold me through my grief. I've experienced some very complicated grief.
Mhm.
I lost my dad in 2017 to Alzheimer's.
Oh,
And I lost my older brother, who was 3 years older than me, to suicide in 2020. So just to have that collective be there for me, grieve alongside with me, has been transformational.
oh my goodness, that's so powerful. So uh, this is a very interesting question, and it's probably like super multifaceted, but what are some unique challenges that you think Black women face when it comes to recovery, when it comes to this community?
I would say in traditional settings, I've seen multiple times where Black women were silenced at the podium when they get up to share, and just like, oh no, outside problems, call your sponsor, don't talk about things like this in this space. It made certain people uncomfortable. And in this space, I definitely feel heard, and nobody's going to silence me. They're going to, most of the time, people can relate with what I'm going through. And once again, it's just that sense of community that you can't get in other areas of recovery. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Wonderful. So something I found really interesting about Sober Black Girls Club is your mentorship program. I just think that's like really interesting and really unique. Could you like tell me a little bit about it?
Yes. I would say that our mentor program is a pivotal way to reach people that maybe normally wouldn't feel comfortable going to a meeting.
Mm,
Sometimes they just want to just listen, like have somebody listen to them, hear
sure.
them out. And also maybe they're sober curious. They're not really ready to take on that title of alcoholic or addict.
Mhm.
Um, I think a mentor can really coach that person through finding where they feel like they best fit in recovery, and it's a non-judgmental person, a person that's not
Yeah.
going to shame you for anything that you're doing in your life, or if you are having slip-ups or relapses. They're not there to shame you. They're there to really love on you and just help you through that period of your life. Yeah.
That's beautiful. So I really like this question. How does Sober Black Girls Club promote inclusivity and create the safe space?
Well, I would like to think about our Tuesday group. That's the group that I am most
Oh,
in tune with,
mhm.
and that is our queer meeting. And just to be surrounded by people of color that are queer, that are in recovery,
Yeah,
it's automatically, just such a safe space. And like I was saying before, we have like tough subjects. We talk about generational curses. We talk about, stigma. We talk about, how queer people are treated in sobriety.
yeah,
Maybe they're more supported if they're white and queer, but if they're Black and queer, it's like, so it's all those facets that come together. And I think that just having that Tuesday group to rely on has been really pivotal for me. Yeah.
that's amazing. So, are there any memorable like stories or experiences that really stand out to you during your time with Sober Black Girls Club?
Yes. So last year's retreat, we went to the Poconos,
Oh my
and I've
gosh,
never been to the Poconos before, but it was so scenic. It was so
it's
beautiful and
beautiful.
peaceful. And we went on hikes. We had inner child work, field work, where we were playing
Oh.
kickball, double dutch, like all the nostalgic like childhood games. Like we were playing, like I think frisbee even at one point, or we were just doing all the things, so that we did like a a sack race, when you jump in a sack and you try to get
Yeah,
to
yeah.
the egg race where you're trying to balance the
Oh my
egg.
gosh. Yeah. That's
So
amazing.
that was so healing, I know, for me, but I was hearing from a lot of women, how healing that was.
Mhm.
And just the camaraderie between all of us, even after just the very first night spending it together and doing introductions, there was just like this weaving of just companionship and community and just love, just from the jump. It was so beautiful. And I look forward to us having another sober retreat this September.
Ooh.
And if anybody's interested, check out our links.
Where are you going this year?
This year we're staying close to LA. We're going to be in Duce, Aqua Duce, I think.
Oh,
There you go.
that's beautiful. Oh, you guys will have a great time. That's amazing. That's so fun. I
Thank
love the idea of retreats. That's something I've
Yes.
always wanted to do is go to like an adult summer camp, where it's
Oh
like because I never got to go to like a traditional summer camp as a kid, which I think is probably the case for a lot of people. And so
yeah.
I was thinking like how healing would that be for my inner child if I just took like a week and just like went to the lake and like did things with like other adults. And turns out there's like a bunch of them and they like market these like for adults. And I thought that was so
I
funny,
realize that's
so
so
off topic.
awesome.
But yeah, and I think a lot of people find healing in that and just like embracing some of the things that like, your child like you wanted to do when you were young that you didn't get to do.
Mhm.
Awesome. So I think a really important part about the work that y'all do and peer recovery support services in general is really the goal of breaking down stereotypes and really reducing the stigma that surrounds recovery. So, how do you think that Sober Black Girls is contributing to that mission, and how do you guys work towards challenging these stereotypes? That's a really big question.
It is. I'll try to break it down. Well, I think one of the biggest things we've done this year was part of our LA meetups for April. We were able to, April, if you might be familiar, April is volunteer month. So
Oh,
we were able to volunteer at an organization called Feed the Streets. And Feed the Streets takes place in Skid Row in LA. And I'm sure you've heard of Skid Row. It was a tremendous opportunity to, as Black women, come together
mhm,
and be of service to our community. The stigmas that are surrounded even around just homeless people,
mhm.
and a lot of them are struggling with recovery as well. Just to be that kind of beacon of light and to navigate those spaces with grace and
Yeah,
love, and just pouring it back into the community, I think was a major major thing that we did this year.
that's beautiful. I'm actually a former Los Angelino, and I'm very passionate about community service work, right? And I think that one of the best things you can do is just go out into a community and do what needs done, whether that is, giving out food or cleaning up litter or, weeding a community garden, what have you. I think that's not only an incredible way to like reduce stigma, but also to make those people feel loved and also to really bring resources to the people who need them the most, to like go where they're at. So what advice would you give to other Black women who may be struggling and considering seeking support?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, if you're listening in and you're struggling with your recovery, or if you're sober curious, the biggest thing is to not feel afraid to connect. You know,
Hmm.
it can be a very scary thing or intimidating thing, but I promise you, if you just go to one of our online meetings, you don't even have to turn your camera on. Just listen and just be open and willing and honest. Just
Yeah.
we your truths in our, in our spaces, and just see the healing that can come from it. Just take it step by step, baby steps, even one day at a time, as they all say, and just never give up on yourself, because you're worth fighting for.
I love that. And that could go on a t-shirt. So looking ahead, what are your hopes and aspirations for yourself and for Sober Black Girls Club?
So, as I mentioned before, I'm very excited about August 3rd, because that will
Yes.
be 5 years sobriety date. So I'm looking forward to, keep on being sober
Yeah.
and giving back as much as I can. I'm open for sponsorship or mentorship, and giving back to the community in any way that I can. And as far as SBGC goes, I can see them really taking off and growing. These retreats are just happening within the states now, but hopefully we can get to a point where we're all going to Puerto Rico for the summer or something like that. That'll be so great, and the more that we're out there and we're giving back to the communities, hopefully people can see our mission statement, and they can see that we're living it, and they'll want to donate to us, and look at our resources and really boost our material online. So honestly, I can see SBGC within the next couple of years really taking off and changing so many people's lives, because this community needs it. They need this love. They need this acceptance. They need these resources.
Absolutely. Thank you so, so much. And thank you for, I think, bringing awareness to a community that has been traditionally left out of the conversation and underserved, right? Yeah, thank you so much for the work that you do, and congratulations on 5 years in recovery. That is incredible. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.